Okay, here's my final video on acid dye. So now we're gonna do that ombre look that is just so pretty. So in my pot, I have just plain water, and to this, I'm gonna add some citric acid, and I'm gonna add a little bit of my green dye. And I'm just gonna add like a teaspoon. Okay, I need to top my spoon. Okay, I'm gonna stir this around. So if you can see, the color is very, very light, which is what I want. I don't want a ton of dye in here because I want to kind of control how dark my color gets. So I've got this piece of fabric that I dyed in the last segment. You can see the pink. I kind of evened it out a little bit and fixed the end a little bit. I got the other end wet, okay? So this whole piece of fabric is now wet. So what we're gonna do is, and you can do it wadded up like this, and it'll give neat, lines like we had before. You can do it open, which will give you a more even sort of look. I'm gonna wad it up just because that's just more my style. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna dip it down in this green. Let's see. So you can see it's just a little bit of green. And I'm gonna swish this around in here until it's the lightest color that I want, okay? So I'm dipping it all the way up to the pink, and I want the lightest shade of green that I'm gonna put on this fabric. So I'm gonna keep swishing this around a little bit, and it's probably gonna look a little more yellow than green, but that's okay, because you really don't want to mix like pink and green because you'll get brown. So a really light shade is great. Okay, so this is what I have. You can see it's very, very light. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add more dye, because remember, the more dye we add, the darker the color, okay?